Big harvest. So what that means is, as we're looking across the country, we're staring at potential to grow 14.8 billion bushels of corn, over 4.7 billion bushels of soybeans. These would be massive crops in any stage of the game. Be the second largest corn crop the nation has ever seen. Top one was in 2016. This will be the largest soybean crop this country's ever seen. And so incredible production, but it sort of continues a string of record years that we've had for the past 5 or 6. I mean, the idea is when you get these record supplies year after year after year, it does tend to keep prices down. At the same time too, though, we've got really good demand. It's just that, yeah, the supply, if you will, is swamping that demand, and that's been the situation for the past several years. Probably the biggest things we'll be watching first and foremost is how quickly can we move this big crop out of the field and into the marketing chain. You know, how quickly can we get it to the elevators, the rail yards, and then hopefully to those feed mills and those export ports. But the other thing we'll be watching here, and especially given the recent spat of weather we've had where we had some wet weather and now we're drying out, is we'll be watching for some quality issues with this crop. One of the biggest things that you get worried about is you like rain to grow that crop, but you like to see that rain sort of stop as we go to harvest that crop, because if you get rain now, you can have issues with molds and other things growing on the crop before you get it harvested. Well, as they're bringing this in, you know, I'm a marketing guy, so here we're sitting there looking at these low prices, and so I spend a lot of time talking to farmers about how to, if you will, protect themselves against these low prices, or to try to prepare how might we capture higher prices in the future. So we're looking at strategies. How do we not have to sell our crop right now? Can we delay that sale until later this winter or spring, where we could see some price recovery in the markets, especially if we can get some trade agreements hammered out over the next few months. Probably the biggest thing right now is getting those trade agreements hammered out. You know, when we're looking now, typically you either get higher prices either through smaller supplies or larger demand. Well, we know the supplies aren't shrinking given USDA's report today, so what we'd be looking for is that growth in demand. And that, for the most part, has to come from trade right now. Another thing to watch, actually, is our livestock industry. When we're looking here, you know, feed demand for our crops is still a massive deal here, and meat trade had been a big issue there. So it's not just trade in corn and soybeans that matters when we're looking at our Iowa crops here. It also matters, okay, think of meat as value-added crop. You've processed that crop through the animal into meat, and so trade matters there as we look as well. And probably one of the bigger markets to watch over the next couple of months will be Mexico. They are a crucial market for especially the Iowa agricultural economy. And so the announcement, you know, a couple of weeks back of a preliminary trade deal is huge for us as we look at Iowa agriculture.